Let's take a few minutes to create this kind of a view that'll go on our major sheet, and it really shows the full layout in the mezzanine and kind of 3D view. I've kind of cropped back on the edge of the building just to kind of remove stuff. I've kind of come low on the, taking the roof off, all with using the section blocks tool. And so this gives us a pretty good idea of what the layout is on that mezzanine level. So I'll go through and we'll do the same thing. I'll just make another copy of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with what would be a full model view or a 3D view. So I'll go to the full model view. And what I want to do is just for a minute here, let's just close off a few of these because I have so many drawings open. And with the full model view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and now if you don't have a full model view or something, name that. You can just double click on the doghouse and it'll open up a new fresh 3D view. As a matter of fact, we can go ahead and do that way. Only thing that's missing are the rendering qualities. So I'll go ahead and just set that for realistic to start with. And let's just call this, I'm going to go down to rename here and call it interior model view. Oh. Oops. Oh. Sorry. Okay. And right away we'll turn our section box on and kind of neck things down. That way we won't have to delete a lot of stuff. So I'll grab the section box and I'll pull that way in. Pull it way in here. Remember, we're going to go a little bit, kind of remove that actual side of the building. I'm going to pull this down until we get rid of the roof. And I'll pull this way up just to the back wall. And likewise, the same way to the front. And we still have these pesky level lines showing, so I'm going to just grab them, one of them, right click, hide in view by category. And we'll turn the crop box on because we want to kind of get a little bit tighter with how it's going to lay on our layout. Remember, we're going to put this on the bottom of a page probably. So I'm going to just come up here nice and tight. Now I might pull up this a little bit to show more of the walls. It looks a little, I just want to come really below the roof level. So let me just mess with this a little bit. And it looks pretty good. So we're going to hide the section box. So I'm going to do hide in view by element. And I'll grab this one and I'm going to just make sure that I turn it off to be not visible. And then we really want to, let me do a ZE, zoom extents, and let's go ahead and render this with a little better quality. So I'm going to go to the rendering settings, graphic display options. We'll get rid of the edges, we'll smooth it, we'll add some shadow in. And I'll hit apply and see what that starts to look like. That looks pretty good. So that'll be ready to be placed onto a sheet. So I'll close that off and we have that now called interior model view. And we'll just go ahead and go through the process. I'll just make a dummy sheet up. So I'm going to go new sheet. And we'll use the presentation sheet. And I'm going to go ahead and drag on that new sheet that we created, and that's interior model view. I'll drag that onto the sheet so we can kind of go through this idea of sizing it properly. So it's small here, so we'll go to size crop. And, oh, this is a model. So actually, let me cancel out of this. This is from an isometric view. So the way we're going to change its size is, let me just deactivate the view again. Oops, wrong screen. Sorry, hold on. Well, actually, I don't even have to deactivate it. I think I can just change the scale here. So we're 1/8 inch scale, and let's just go up to 1/4 and see what that does. And it makes it nice and huge. Let me deactivate the view so we can move it. Might be a little large, so let's see if we can go back one step. So we'll go to, I think, 3/16. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So we could actually delete this and drag it back on again, so our title block will line up nicely. All right, we want to put our floor plan on here. And actually, I'm going to go to the actual sheet that we created for this. So I'm going to go to sheet 1. And it looks like I made a larger kind of ratio of things. You may want to consider doing that also. Actually, it looks a little better. Let's go compare it to the other sheet that I just constructed. Let's go back up to 1/4 scale. And, you know, I don't mind doing this because this is the kind of thinking that that I would hope that you would go through, this kind of, you know, thinking back and forth on things. You can tell I want to get this top corner in. I really don't need any information that's down here that's blocking this. So if I double click into this and I make the section box action or the crop region visible, I can actually pull this up. And if I'm happy with that, I can deactivate the view. And I can actually move this over a little bit. So I'm getting the whole thing on the sheet. And I want to make that crop region invisible again, so it's not making that line. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this and drag it back on again. And one of the little things we can do is if I select the box itself, I'm allowed to bring this title bar back over again. All right, now that's going to leave us a little room for the narrative and a little room for the floor plan. So let's actually go and grab the mezzanine floor plan. So the mezzanine floor plan looks like this, and I can't drag it on because it's already in another sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that view. You don't have to duplicate it because you won't have it, but I just want to go through the process. And now let's go back to the sheet I'm working on, which is unnamed. I haven't given it a name. And I'll drag the mezzanine copy on. I'll need to move this over a little bit possibly. And I'm going to select this so I can drag this part of the title bar back. And I have room over here for the narrative. I don't like the way this is coming over and touching the edge. So I'm going to highlight that again and turn the crop region back on again. And I'll just pull these in tight to this sheet that we're laying it out on. And we'll turn that off. I'll do zoom extent so you can see this on the whole screen. And we have a place for the narrative over here. And then I can A/B it to one that I've already created. So it's pretty similar. Actually, I think I probably did a little better job over here. We'll get the kind of cropping of it. So you can take that as a little lesson back and forth. Doesn't have to look exactly like mine. It just has to look good.